Hey, welcome to Evolve 2025. We're here at the PressBox. How exciting to be here to talk about emerging security trends. I'm joined by my co-host, Mark Butler. I'm Bryan Kissinger. I'm Trace3 CISO, lead up our security and networking business. Mark, welcome. Introduce yourself.
Thanks, Bryan. It's great to be here at Evolve. This is one of the best events I think any of us have ever been to from a technology conference and a leadership perspective. So great conversations, really thought-provoking, and it's great to be here.
Yeah, so we've heard a lot about AI at Evolve, and so we're just going to talk about AI for the next 15 minutes. I'm kidding. We're actually not going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about IT resiliency, which has also been a hot topic here at Evolve. Mark, what does IT resiliency mean to you?
Yeah, resiliency is a great umbrella, right, of capabilities. So when you've run security programs, I've run security programs. Resiliency is always the theme, but what we're seeing is really an ecosystem approach needed. You may have your backup and recovery tools, you may have your Active Directory tools, you may have your endpoint tools, you may have environments that are more tightly controlled. But at the end of the day, it's an ecosystem that needs to be brought back up. It's not just one single platform. So yeah, a lot of interconnection points that you have to think about ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think most security leaders and practitioners have come to the realization that it really isn't if we get hit, it's when we get hit, and that ability to get back up to speed quickly, have immutable backups, and restore business operations as quickly as possible is really important. I think we're seeing a lot of great solutions out there. I think of Cohesity in this space. Mark, what are practitioners doing, out in the field as it relates to putting resilient operations in place?
Yeah, so a few examples would be, making sure you have immutable backups is obviously a key. But beyond that, looking at your Active Directory environment, looking at your administrative accounts, doing some identity threat detection and response, as well as leveraging AI, right? From where's my data and where's my most sensitive data, and is my most sensitive data actually within my backup and recovery ecosystem? So a lot of good layers there to unpack.
Now, Mark, you wanted to ask me a question. What did you want to say?
So Bryan, as Trace3 CISO, how has the journey been for you from, a adoption of AI, right? Because most organizations are either trying to block and tackle, or they're trying to enable and observe, right? There's different strategies of how you can partner, right, with the product teams and all the development teams assembling AI capabilities. But as Trace3 CISO, how have you seen that progress internally?
I'm glad you asked me that question. I wasn't expecting it at all. So we are going to talk a little bit about AI, obviously. As Trace3 CISO, we have to operate very efficiently. Like many organizations, we don't have an army of security engineers and operators to do everything in a manual fashion. And thankfully, AI has been there now to support us. A lot of our solutions partners, actually most of them, have been baking in machine learning, automation, and AI capabilities into their tool sets now for many years. So the good news for us as security operators is that you don't have to worry about how do I include AI, how do I get faster and more accurate. You're able to leverage a lot of these great solutions to really up-level your ability with minimal staff. And we at Trace3, we obviously need to do that. We have a smaller IT and security team internally, so I very much empathize and understand a lot of our customers that need to take advantage of AI solutions baked into a lot of the tool sets that they already have in their portfolio.
Well, yeah, that's great. I think to extend that, we've seen a lot of acquisitions happening, right? So whether it's Palo Alto buying Prompt or Protect AI, sorry. SentinelOne buying Prompt, F5 has picked up, Calypso, Cato bought AIM, right? There's all these acquisitions happening. So I think the good thing is if you've been looking for an independent AI solution, you can probably find that within a platform very easily now where you couldn't have done that a year ago.
Yep. All right, well, since you asked me an AI question that I was not expecting, I'm going to ask you one. You're out talking to a lot of CISOs and security leaders, infrastructure leaders. How do they escape being pulled into or mired into this AI noise? What's the practical advice and guidance you would give those leaders?
Yeah, the first thing I would say is you have to change your paradigm of looking at static controls and capabilities. You really have to shift to a dynamic model because whether you're a defender or you're getting attacked by AI, it's going to be a dynamic situation, right? So the traditional security, static defenses are not going to suffice. So the biggest thing is that paradigm shift of what am I up against now versus what were the kind of battles of the past. And then how do I leverage AI within my existing stacks and my existing platforms and tool sets to defend better, respond quicker, and then analyze the real risks at hand. And so it's truly becoming an AI-enabled situation on both sides, whether you're defending or getting attacked.
Here at Evolve, we've heard a couple times that there are some surveys out there, some statistics that companies are struggling to successfully implement AI, or they're not necessarily reaping the benefits yet of AI solutions. Are you hearing that, or what are you seeing out in the market?
Yeah, there's statistics in the 80s, 90s, way up there, right? But I think the bigger challenge is, the use case focus has been important, but it also has been maybe a little bit too small from a lens perspective of what are we connecting to and what are we accomplishing from a bigger scale standpoint. So I feel like we need to assemble a lot of use cases together from a theme perspective, and then align those to outcomes as we evaluate the AI models, the AI apps, and the enablements that's happening.
Yeah, I get asked a lot whether AI is ready for prime time, or should we be allowing these generative AI tools in a corporate environment? And I'm probably one of the optimistic security people out there. I say, yes, you should. It's a game changer, but do it in a measured way. Do it in a use case that makes sense. Take your time. Don't feel pressured by the business or anyone else to roll out AI tools in a faster timeline than you feel comfortable. At the end of the day, we in security are in the risk mitigation business, and so you can do it in a risk acceptable manner, but don't feel pressured to roll out something that you feel like maybe your organization or maybe that business unit isn't really ready for it yet.
Right, and I think it's a new opportunity for all the security practitioners out there to say, what can I observe that I've never observed before? What can I risk analyze, in a faster manner? But then, as these AI apps are enabled and deployed, how can I quickly come alongside and learn, risk analysis faster, maybe output from the models that I need to, use AI to help review and make sure the output is what I intended. And then there's, the front end data side of it, and then there's the, output analysis side of it. So you have to actually do both.
That's great. Well, thank you all for listening. Again, great to be here at the PressBox at Evolve 2025. For all of your emerging security and infrastructure needs, please reach out to us at Trace3. We're happy to help you. Mark, thank you for being here today as my co-host. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate it too.